N.Y.C. They probably can't hear me, but it's okay. It's all about the team of you. So you have the microphones on. So I have to like project. My name's Ian, I'm the co-producer of NFT.NYC. Britini, can you please introduce yourself and tell me a bit about your business?
So I'm Britini Miller. I am the head of our business. I am kind of overseeing operations for and the idea is that we are trying to build a platform where we provide content around leadership and we're going to use that to kind of help them build a more well-rounded persona, help them build a brand identity that we can then them with micro internships so that they get experience, real world experience that's more valuable than anything else to help them be kind of successful adults later in life.
I love that. I'm on board with the vision. You are the visionary, you're the CEO, so Deepali, please give me some insight. How did this materialize? And then maybe we could kind of dive in a bit with some questions I have about what you're working on.
Absolutely. This all started because I was hiring very young people into my company in my day job previously, and I just saw a disconnect between what kids were coming and learning from college and what they really needed to do on the reality of the job, and there was a huge disconnect. So when I started peeling back the layers, it kind of took me all the way back to high school. What are these kids learning in high school? Where are the soft skill development? Where's the critical thinking, the problem solving, the communications? All of these things that are so critical and probably 80% of the job when you're in the real world. And so when we peeled back those layers, I decided that there's an opportunity here to teach these kids all the stuff that they're not learning in school, right? And that's where Fearless Plus came about. And we want to have these kids be fearless, be able to pivot and count on these soft skills that we are helping them develop, curated content, and give them a little bit of coaching. And we think that you can only build character through experience. So all of these teenagers that, pandemic, post-pandemic, all of these things that have happened in the last 18 months and the technological, innovation that is at the speed of light, we're sort of moving at that pace and we don't want these kids to be left behind. And so what we're trying to do on our platform is really get them to understand what content is important, what real world skills do they need, and how are they going to get there, and we're going to match them with the experience that gives them confidence and builds their character.
So part of it is an ed tech company where they learn, but part of it is a community that they're a part of.
Absolutely.
Help me understand your heart for community in context of Web3, decentralized communities. You're not in total control as the executive, as the founder.
Correct.
You're giving some control away. So give me some ideas of how you approach that differently than maybe you would have had it been an ed tech company from 5 or 10 years ago.
Absolutely. So first of all, we think community is everything. So in our beta pilot over the summer, we realized that these kids are living in what I'm going to call their own metaverses, right? And and they're supporting each other. So for us, we're here to curate an experience for them, but it's really up to them to learn from each other. A lot of the confidence building things that we were learning during our pilot program was, kids were saying, well, there's a person in California that's doing all these cool things. I'm not good enough. And so we felt like if they felt a sense of community and they felt that they were confident enough to approach one another and learn from another, that's where really that sense of community comes into play. And so we want to be able to have that really kind of go viral on itself, right? You're learning from each other. Think about it when you're working with teams, right? You are only as good as your team. There's no I in team. And so for our platform, we want to make sure that these kids are connected to one another. And if you almost think about it, a youth LinkedIn. Imagine a kid from New York City is talking to a kid in California, and Silicon Valley kid is teaching something to a New York City kid, and so on and so forth. So our whole premise is democratizing access. And when you democratize access, you create these communities that are so much more fulfilling for these kids.
Yeah. So Britini, maybe you could jump in and talk a bit about the technology side of things, because community and the heart behind it, vital, but also there has to be the development underpinning of actually making it all work. So give me some insight on that side.
Yeah, so in connecting these kids with these micro internships, we have to build a space where they can kind of build out who they are, what their experience is like, who are they really, what are their interests, so that we can find and match them with internships that are going to be valuable to them. And to do that, what we want to do is to build a platform that enables resumes to be built on the blockchain. And that's going to be something entirely different, because think about every single time you do an internship, you have a job, you have a role, all of that is in one place. It is recorded. You don't have to kind of scrounge to figure out, well, what did I do there? What was this role? How did this change? All of that is in one place, and it's really easy for an employer to see what you've done, and they know that it's verified, it's valid, it's there, and it's also in the context of your greater personality, your greater brand that we want kids to contribute to. So that technology piece we really think is going to be revolutionary, and that's kind of where we see the platform going.
So there's where it's at and where it's going. When you start to think through how you kind of get where it's going from a development, product, platform perspective, what do you think this is going to be like the way we're going to have the greatest success, and this is going to be probably a big challenge when you start thinking through mitigating risk around struggle and also kind of doubling down on the things that will help you get there technically. Where do these things kind of stand in your mind in terms of things that you're anticipating are going to be hard to build and things that you think, we have a really good path to get here?
I think that actually building out the space where the kids are able to build out their experience, their resumes, their brands, that's going to probably be a challenge, because we have to find the right balance between something that's interesting, something that feels that it's constantly live, that they can constantly update, because you're different at 15 than you are at 18, but we want to be able to track all of that, all of the highlights associated with that, and still feel true to them. So we have to find a way to support that, to make it seamless, to make it really usable, but to allow for that flexibility. What I think that we have the advantage is that a lot of our founders are very focused in technology. They've built a lot of really cool experiences previously with live data. One of our founders was working in sports previously, so I think we have a lot of experience to figure out how to do that and to do it well.
So when we think about the future, if I say to you NFT 2024, and you project 2-3 years out, what really are you focused on? What are you projecting? What are you hoping for and building towards?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we think about technology, when we think about blockchain, when we think about NFT, when we think about crypto, everything in that ecosystem, we want our platform to encapsulate. So if a kid is on the Fearless Plus platform, perhaps they have an NFT. Perhaps there's a gamification element. There are points that they can earn towards certain internships. You want to have platinum internships at Roblox, or a gaming company, or a financial services firm, or whatever. I think them understanding that ecosystem, understanding even creating sort of liquidity around NFTs, right? Creating a marketplace for NFTs, and also layering that in the metaverse, right? We're thinking about virtual reality settings, right? Think about if we're able to have a kid put on a virtual reality headset, have their NFT version of themselves in this virtual reality, and they're giving a TED Talk, and that's helping their communication skills. Or they're doing an interview one-on-one, or they're doing a presentation for a team 1-on-5. And so that's the kind of experience we want, because chances are when they come out of that, they are so much better. They've improved incrementally by 10, 20, 30, 40%.
That's wonderful. So maybe the final question I could give to you, Britini. We're all gathering tomorrow morning. I'm yelling at you so that the microphone can hear me. If you had all the Times Square billboards and everybody's gathered together, and you could get everybody's attention and say something to them about Fearless Plus and what you're hoping to do for children with your EdTech platform, what do you want the community to know?
I think I'm actually going to let Deepali take this one, because I know that she's got the answer for this one.
Well, if it were up to me, I would want to have Fearless really empower the next generation. That's what we're all about. We want to empower the next generation to be able to pivot in their every career. They should not be limited to one career. They should have 3 or 4 or 5 careers. So we want to be the platform, the connection point, the marketplace for everything to create success and empower the next generation.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We're happy to having you here with us and being part of the community. Thanks for jumping into the live stream.
Cool.
If you're going to be watching us, thank you for your attention. I'll be back again with another conversation about NFTs here at NFT.NYC 2021. I salute you.
Thank you, Ian.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was awesome.